What until recently was spoken about as a distant future is now beginning to become reality, because Samsung, according to several sources within the industry, has come extremely close to creating the thinnest tablet in the world. And this is not just about a minor improvement, but a real technological leap that could change the entire market. According to preliminary data, the company is working on a device whose thickness will be lower than that of all existing counterparts, including even the thinnest solutions from competitors. Moreover, there is a possibility that Samsung may present this tablet already this year, and if that happens, it will become one of the loudest releases in the technology world in recent years. To understand the scale of what is happening, it is necessary to look at where Samsung stands now. At the moment, the company's thinnest tablet is the Ultra lineup, for example the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra, whose thickness is about 5.1 millimeters. This is already an extremely thin device that is essentially at the limit of engineering capabilities, but as leaks suggest, work is already underway inside the company on the next step, where the thickness may drop below the psychological mark of 5 millimeters. And this is where a real engineering battle begins, because reducing thickness even by 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters is incredibly difficult. The main problem in creating an ultra-thin tablet is the battery, as it takes up most of the internal space of the device. And the thinner the body, the less space remains for the battery, which means battery life decreases. And here Samsung, according to leaks, is betting on new energy density technologies, which could involve either a new battery architecture or the use of denser materials that allow capacity to be maintained with less volume. If this is confirmed, it will be a major breakthrough, because the battery has always been the main limitation in the race for thinness. The second problem is cooling, because the thinner the device, the harder it is to dissipate heat from the processor. Modern tablets already operate at laptop-level performance, and if the thickness is reduced, the cooling system simply stops being effective, which is why Samsung is reportedly testing new graphite and vapor chamber cooling systems that take up less space but work more efficiently. This is critical, because overheating can not only reduce performance, but also damage the device. The third problem is durability, because an ultra-thin body always carries a risk of bending, and while smartphones can be reinforced due to their smaller size, tablets are larger devices that are subjected to much greater stress. Therefore, Samsung is likely using new aluminum alloys, or even composite materials, to maintain structural rigidity with minimal thickness. And this is one of the most complex stages of development because it requires balancing weight, thickness, and strength. Now let's talk about why Samsung is doing this at all. And the answer is simple: competition. The main rival here is Apple, which has long focused on thin and lightweight devices including the iPad Pro. And if Samsung manages to release a tablet that is noticeably thinner, it will become a powerful marketing move. Because in the eyes of users, thinness is not just a specification, but a feeling of the future. A wow effect, something that sells the device even before a person looks at its specs. But the impact will not be limited to Apple, as Chinese brands such as Honor and others are also actively participating in the race for thinness, with some already showing tablets under 5 millimeters thick. And if Samsung releases an even thinner device, it will automatically raise the bar for the entire industry, forcing competitors to accelerate development, increase investment, and possibly even rethink their strategies. At the same time, an ultra-thin tablet has real advantages beyond marketing, including portability, as such a device will be lighter and more convenient to use, especially on the go. And design. Ultra-thin devices look more premium and futuristic. And third, they enable new usage scenarios. For example, such a tablet could be more easily integrated with accessories, used as a digital notebook, or even as a laptop replacement. But there are also risks, one of the main ones being price, because such technologies are expensive, and if Samsung really uses new materials and batteries, the cost of the device could increase significantly. The second risk is compromises, such as reducing the number of ports or decreasing battery life. And here it will be very important how well the company can balance all parameters. If we put everything together, a very interesting picture emerges, as Samsung is at the final stage of one of the most complex engineering projects in the tablet segment, trying to create a device that is not just better, but fundamentally different from everything on the market. And if they succeed, it could mark the beginning of a new era of ultra-thin devices. And most importantly, everything indicates that we will not have to wait long, because if insider reports are confirmed, in the coming months, we may see an official announcement, and then it will become clear whether Samsung has truly managed to achieve the impossible. Because if they present a tablet that is thinner than all existing solutions, it will not just be a release, but a signal to the entire industry, a signal that the boundaries have shifted once again, and that the race for the future is only just beginning. And here another extremely interesting point appears, one that is hardly discussed openly, but is being talked about within the industry, which is the impact of such a device on the entire Samsung ecosystem. Because an ultra-thin tablet is not just a standalone product, but a foundation for future devices. If Samsung really manages to achieve high battery density, improved cooling, and structural strength in such a thin format, these technologies will almost certainly transfer to smartphones, foldable devices, and even laptops, which means not just one successful product, but a strategic advantage for years ahead. Moreover, there is an opinion that this tablet could become a kind of test platform for an entirely new class of devices. For example, hybrids between a tablet and a next-generation foldable display. Imagine a device that in its folded state is thinner than most modern smartphones, and when unfolded turns into a full large screen. And if Samsung is now solving the thickness problem, this automatically opens the way for such form factors. It is also impossible to ignore the impact on accessories, because an ultra-thin tablet changes the requirements for keyboards, styluses, cases, and even magnetic attachments. Everything must become lighter, thinner, and at the same time more reliable, which creates an additional wave of innovation among accessory manufacturers, meaning that one product triggers a chain reaction across the entire industry. And there is one more important point, the psychological effect. Because when a user first holds a device that feels almost weightless and unrealistically thin, it creates the feeling that you are holding a technology of the future, and this is exactly what the premium segment is built on, which is why such devices often go viral on the internet, gain millions of views, and essentially advertise themselves. As a result, we may find ourselves in a situation where Samsung is not just releasing another tablet, but setting a new standard, a standard that everyone else will strive for. And if this happens already this year, the tablet market could change dramatically within a single upgrade cycle, because after the appearance of the thinnest device in the world, everything thicker will automatically start to look outdated. And this is exactly what makes Samsung's current development so important and potentially revolutionary.